From Dave Bautista and Zoe Saldana wanting to say goodbye to the franchise, to Chris Pratt still being interested in playing our favorite space hero. Here's how the MCU cast reacted to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, starting with how the film seems to have put the MCU back on track, which is just what they needed, especially after Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania received the worst reviews for a Marvel movie yet. Initial reviews for the final movie in the Guardians trilogy are coming in, and it's being hailed as the best Marvel movie in years. Everybody thinks it's surprisingly emotional for a Guardians movie though. One critic said the movie made him cry, and it delivers on everything you'd expect it to and then some. Yet another critic said that the movie's not what fans were expecting, but it's got a great story and has an emotional ending. Some of Marvel's best work can be seen in the production design and set pieces. It looks like Gunn took all his chances with the perfect story about Rocket. I mean, what can I say? People love Rocket, and Mr. Not Raccoon loves his friends. But the love the director has for the character makes the movie all the more worthwhile. And since this is Gunn's last MCU movie before returning to his full-time job at DCU, some fans believe that the movie is only good because of Gunn. But not everyone liked Guardians 3. Some people thought it felt a little anticlimactic and boring. The editor, Matt Neglia, said that the movie does succeed in some areas with its action and humor, but it feels uneven. And that's not all though. Fans also noticed weird parallels. It kinda looks like Gunn copied Superman's fight scene with the Justice League in Volume 3. It all started when a Twitter user claimed that Gunn was copying a scene from Snyder's Justice League. He posted a clip with both scenes. A scene from Snyder's Justice League is at the top of the screen, the one where Superman and Cyborg are fighting, and Cyborg is trying to stop him, but ends up getting thrown away. At the bottom of the screen, there's a scene where Nebula is pushed away and pinned to the ground, and the two scenes honestly look pretty similar. The person who shared the video said that it looked like Gunn seemed to think he was Snyder. James Gunn joined DC Studios in 2022 as co-chairman and co-CEO. Snyder's Justice League came out in 2021, so he could have copied the order. Gunn's side has not responded yet, and it's not just the speculations that make the cast want to leave, or at least one of them. Yes sir, Dave Bautista is pretty sure he's not playing Drax again. It's one thing to say an emotional farewell to a franchise you were a part of for a while, and another to leave huffin' and puffin'. It looks like Bautista did not leave on the best of terms either. When someone asked if he planned on ever coming back to the MCU, it was a hard no from his side. He doesn't get why this is still news to everyone, because he's placed a lot of emphasis on how this is the last movie for him as Drax. It doesn't look like he wants anything to do with Marvel in the future. Apparently, the actor thinks that his coming back would maybe tarnish the character. Come on, that's a pretty strong word to use. He compared it to the time he quit wrestling. Bautista doesn't plan on returning, not even for a bigger paycheck. Let's not forget how he said he hated playing the part because he had to put on a lot of makeup. Plus, he doesn't want this to be his legacy and wants to focus on more serious work. Let's be real, it's not just about the character. It's also got to do with James Gunn leaving. Besides, Bautista isn't the only one to time his departure like this. Zoe Saldana also said that she would leave Marvel with Gunn after Volume 3 comes out. Just like with Drax, Gamora also thinks it's pretty much over for her at Marvel. Well, the character's definitely gonna stay, duh, but the actress thinks she doesn't have a future in the franchise anymore. In this case, Saldana wants to leave because it's about time she moved on to other projects. But she doesn't want Gamora to go away with her, especially because she's such an impactful character for female fans. She's looking forward to these characters showing up again in other movies. But as far as Saldana's career at MCU is concerned, she thinks she's been in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise long enough. Come on, a decade is a pretty long time. It looks like Zoe's moving on, with grace and gratitude. Chris Pratt, however, doesn't share the same feelings as his co-stars. He admitted that it will be tough to continue without James. Pratt even talked about how he and James found Peter Quill's voice together over the years, and how Gunn's behind every part of the process. He's responsible for writing, directing, and coming up with the right music. But it doesn't look like he would mind continuing to play Peter Quill again, even without Gunn. So much for loyalty, right? And of course, he made it clear that this would be his way of keeping the story and character alive. As if. Gunn's planned departure is a big deal, but just in case anyone forgot, he could have left the company a lot sooner. Gunn was working on Volume 3 when Disney fired him in 2018. I'm not gonna lie, the firing kinda backfired because the director's fans were really mad about it. Gunn's continued press tour for Volume 3 is making him think of new things about the situation. He's talked about being fired in the past, but in a new interview, he kept talking about the effects of what Disney did. It shouldn't be a surprise that he remembers that time as a tough part of his life. And yeah, a lot of time went by, but both fans and big names in the business kept talking about it, which probably swung things back in his favor, because it looked like Gunn was able to get help from his Guardians team, who were all ready to leave with him back then too. The cast even came over to hang out with him and comfort him. Gunn was finally put back in charge of Volume 3 in early 2019, but he didn't know that Disney would change its mind. In fact, it sounds like he had already accepted the idea that he would be leaving the MCU. Still, he felt he had to go back to the series to make things right for one character. That's when he decided that he needed to tell Rocket's story one last time. And that's how we got this epic and emotional movie today. It only made everyone realize that the MCU needs James Gunn, because after a fairly poor Phase 4 and a boring start to Phase 5 with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Gunn leaves the MCU by showing Marvel what they should learn from his work in the trilogy. The movie should focus on feelings, not the fight scene that has to happen in the third act, or the attempts to set up the next 10 years of material. Volume 3 shows how much better the MCU is when Marvel lets a creator make what they want, instead of making them follow what they want. Gunn's loss is one of the most painful in Volume 3, because who else can make a trilogy and make each one better than the other, all without making any character less likable? That's something not many have been able to do, and there have been a lot of great directors in the MCU, but Gunn was the only one who really took advantage of all the freedoms and possibilities of this universe. His drive, vision, heart, and sense of humor will be missed in this universe. The funny part is that you will never hear Superman fans say this. Anyway, that's all for how the MCU cast reacted to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.